Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Criterion, your exclusive channel reviewing and previewing new and forthcoming releases in the collection. Criterion Premieres is a selection of new theatrical films presented on Blu-ray and DVD, and they're released in association with the Criterion Channel. In this edition of Let's Talk Criterion, we'll be taking a look at the latest from horror master David Cronenberg, with his new film The Shrouds, coming to the collection on Blu-ray. David Cronenberg is a principal originator of the body horror genre, with his films exploring visceral bodily transformation, infectious diseases, and the intertwining of the psychological, physical, and technological. For many years now, he has specialised in in-camera body horror, with films such as Rabid, The Fly, Videodrome, and more recently Crimes of the Future. And at times he's veered away from his signature genre with films such as M. Butterfly, Eastern Promises, and A History of Violence. That's coming to the collection soon on 4K UHD. His latest film is The Shrouds, and it had its world premiere in the Maine competition at Cannes in 2024, and it was theatrically released in France by Pyramid Distribution on April the 30th of that year, to a fairly tame reception. It equally fared poorly in the US and the UK box offices. Clearly, his films are competing for time now with a dynamic and vibrant horror community who have already seen quite a lot of this type of horror, and even on the psychological side. Now, once again, the film was shot in his home city of Toronto in Canada. Faithful to his long-term fascination that he's had with technology and alternative embodiments, here Cronenberg proposes an invention that enables one to monitor the dead. That's to have a high-resolution live stream of their body as it decomposes, and it's wrapped in specially designed shrouds. Now, the person who came up with grave tech is Korsh, that's played in the film by Vincent Cassel. Now, he resembles the director himself. A widower of 4 years as a coping strategy to deal with the death of his beloved Becca, that's Diane Kruger. Now, of Becca, we know comparatively little, and throughout the film, her presence is more symbolic than actually felt. She appears in Korsh's dreams. She is beautiful but weakened, seductive but disabled. But what do we know? Well, she died of cancer, a disease that makes one wane in pain. Now, Diane Kruger received the Best Actress Award in Cannes in 2017 for her lead performance in Fatih Akin's In the Fade. Now, she's actually tasked with 2 roles in The Shrouds. She plays both the deceased Becca and twin sister Terry. Now, Terry is a cynical dog groomer who, for some reason, finds conspiracy theories arising, and it's not clear what her real motivations are as a character. And in a way, she is libido personified. Now, the same goes for Sue Min, that's Sandrine Holt, an elegant blind woman who catches Korsh's eye. And it's not long until he decides to rebound his grief with the help of those 2 libidinal figures, whenever the memory of his late wife allows him to do so, that is. All in all, however much they try, both actresses fall prey to the film's lack of thematic and tonal consistency overall. They seem to be off the mark most of the time. Now, would it be great if the film was just another metaphor a la Cronenberg, where bodies and technology equal Eros and Thanatos? But The Shrouds takes on way too much here, and it spreads itself too thinly, with an investigative narrative thread. Some of the monitored graves are desecrated out of the blue. Now, that turns the film wildly conspiratorial. Was it Russia? Or was it China? In a way that unfortunately dilutes the central theme of loss. and there's an emphasis on how idealistic the grave tech setup actually is, from the shrouds themselves, the monitoring app, and the interactive gravestones that go with them. And it's only natural the film includes skepticism and ridicule from people who are not willing to buy into it. Now, as always in Cronenberg's world, there are those who embrace the newness and those, of course, who reject it. But the film itself does not dwell on the ethical conundrums a post-mortem surveillance can pose. Instead, it all stops at how freaky it is. Now, even if one can overlook the awkward and insultingly repetitive wordplay that couples crypt and encrypted, the film misses a major opportunity to reflect on the embalming qualities of cinema. Karsh's invention is a literal, if macabre, representation of what the French film theorist André Bazin wrote about the essence of cinema, comparing the moving image to the Turin shroud. Yet this conceptual proximity is left unexplored in the Shrouds. Cronenberg's work is known for reimagining the human body beyond its human confines, whether it be through technology in Videodrome and scanners, metamorphosis in The Fly, or surgery in Crimes of the Future. He's used bodily surfaces to talk about deeply human issues before, such as fear, lust, and impending grief. But The Shrouds seems overwritten and underdeveloped at the same time, and it's hard to tell why exactly it misses all the marks. Now, David Cronenberg, in trying to pay tribute to his late wife, the film reduces its women to smokescreen projections. Instead of exploring the idea of an eternal cinematic gaze 6 feet under, the film quickly moves onto a game of deceit, cheating, and political conspiracy. Now, neither Cassell's sleek silver hairdo nor Kruger's thirsty gaze can redeem The Shrouds. We can only hope that in a few years the Canadian director will maybe decide to revisit the film and give it a second chance. Well, it worked for Crimes of the Future at least. Now, plagued by visions, paranoia, and the slow deterioration of his health, 2 psychosexual affairs begin. An early scene in the film shows Karsh going in for a routine dental cleaning. His dentist remarks that Karsh's teeth are decaying faster than usual. This is what grief does, pointing, of course, to the teeth with a plaque remover. Heeding the dentist's warning, Karsh continues to focus its attention on building and expanding grave tech, attracting the attention of a European business mogul in the process. Now, Karsh feels inclined to help the mogul, played in the film by Ingvar Sergetsson, because of a personal connection, as the mogul's health wanes due to the chemical fumes that had begun to fill the air in his European homeland, coming from the industrialization of farming practices. Karsh will bring some ease to his suffering by bringing grave tech to his country. Standing alongside the mogul through this arduous process is his blind wife, Sue Min. Now, she develops a connection to Karsh. Returning home, Karsh's friendship with Terry continues to excel as he tries to make some sense of Becca's death by analysing his emotions, and his feelings come from a sincere place but deep-rooted in psychosis, slowly drifting into paranoia. 2 affairs, one physical and the other emotional, are both derived from an inability to see. Now, The Shrouds shares a spiritual connection to The Brood from 1979. This is arguably one of Cronenberg's earliest and best films, and one that's in the Criterion collection, also depicting the lives of people deeply affected by the loss of a spouse. Each film shows the great strides mankind will make to enhance nature for their own selfish benefit, claiming it to be a selfless gesture of progression for the sake of humanity. Cronenberg has always used the body to explore complex and nuanced ideas. An erotic kink could be presented as a form of voyeurism, of watching your beloved decompose on your phone, live from their grave, or it could be presented as chasing conspiracy theories down. The Shrouds explores both of these types of fetishes, while the technology itself acts as something with potential, but determined by its user and their motivations. Cronenberg delivers his most personal film to date, with his own grief certainly on display on the screen throughout the film. Karsh holds on to Becca through his technology of grave tech and by watching her, while Cronenberg is grieving through his filmmaking here. The Fly has always felt as the writer-director's most affecting and tender film, but The Shrouds will certainly be classed as his most vulnerable. The Shrouds follows the same format as the Janus Contemporaries did as regards to additional features. We have a Meet the Filmmakers David Cronenberg interview, and that was with the director, and that debuted earlier on the Criterion Channel, as indeed did the film itself, and a trailer as the only features offered on the Blu-ray disc. The written notes accompanying the film are by regular Criterion contributor Beatrice Loisier. The Shrouds finds Cronenberg exploring heady ideas about sex, surveillance, and the ultimate body horror, the physical decay that awaits us all. The film has a running time of 119 minutes, and it comes in a 1:85:1 aspect ratio. And whether you like it, or indeed whether you loathe it, The Shrouds is now part of the Criterion collection. And if you are a big Criterion fan and also a Cronenberg fan, then you can pick this up at the forthcoming Barnes & Noble 50% off sale, and that is in November. Next time, we'll be looking at another earlier Cronenberg film. It stars Viggo Mortensen, and that's A History of Violence, coming to the Criterion Collection on 4K UHD. So until then, from me, as always, it's goodbye, and above all, good Criterion viewing.